found us. What about this idea?
Gotta listen to this show. Why?
Because it's about the hearts and minds of entrepreneurs.
Oh, nailed it.
I didn't even look at the wall.
Nailed it.
I didn't even look at the
All
wall.
right, listen, honestly, this is a show. It's different than other shows about entrepreneurship.
It's real. It's real. Real stories.
Is it?
We tend to talk very real.
I love
And
it.
so do our guests. So come have fun with us.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to What About This Idea?
Welcome to What About This Idea?
Hi, Juliet.
Hi.
How are you today?
I am doing really mighty fine.
Are you?
I know you're giving me that. You're not really fine today. I'm having one of those days.
No, you're
It's
fine.
been
It's
back
just like
to back
something-
to back to back to back.
A wire kind of came loose or something. In
I
it
know,
feels
right?
like.
I know, right?
Just a little bit. I mean it in the nicest. Don't jump on me, please.
I'm heavy on the crazy today.
Yeah, that's
heavy,
right.
Heavy
It's
on
good.
the crazy.
It's positive crazy energy. But here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to get rid of this. I'm going to show we've got the logo for the show coming on.
Oh my gosh!
Oh my gosh!
Stop
We've even
it
got
right
our
now.
guest. We've got
You
it.
don't
It's
even
written up there.
deserve this.
Sam Cartford of Uptrends.ai. It says it right on the thing. Bam! There we are. Hi, Sam.
Wow. Sam,
So welcome.
Thank you.
welcome to the show about inside the hearts and minds of entrepreneurs.
Oh,
which
she
I
got it
usually
right
say-
today.
The only reason I got it right is because I'm reading it off the poster on the wall.
It looks good.
Yeah.
You like the poster?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's a framed print photo thing.
Canvas.
Canvas of some sort.
It's actually really crappy.
Yeah, we weren't terribly pleased with it.
So we're having everybody sign it so it covers up the imperfections.
Yeah, but it's good for that.
It is very good for that because it has love.
We have to get some of our guests back in. Anyway, Sam, since we don't want to lose listeners,
We've barely even gotten them.
see, thanks for coming.
really, I'm just going to keep wandering on
Oh,
different
man.
subjects.
What is this show about? Well, it is a show about entrepreneurialism, entrepreneurial thinking. I had the distinct pleasure of hanging out with a French person last night.
Oh, I
don't-
know. I know what you're about to
I don't want
mention.
to, I'm not even going to mention it.
You got to mention it now. You can't just leave it hanging there. Not everyone that listens to us knows the
He was
big
a camper
story.
at camp.
He was a camper at your camp.
Yes, he was.
And what did you do at that camp, Sam?
Guided canoe trips.
Oh
All right,
my gosh.
Anyway.
You really? So you
course,
met,
Sam.
you hadn't seen him for 20 years.
Yeah, what are you, stalking me on Facebook? We didn't talk about this, did we?
I saw you yesterday and you said you're going to meet
Oh, I told you this.
someone that you hadn't seen for 20 years.
Yes.
See, as much as you think I'm not listening, I am listening.
Well, it's just so hard to tell sometimes. My point was going to be that I asked point blank of a Frenchman, entrepreneur. It's a French word, right? And he's like, oh, entrepreneur. Like, yeah, that one. He's like, yes, very French. All right, so verification.
Verification. And we still haven't looked it up, though.
But what he did say is that entrepreneur sort of has a double meaning in France, in the native language. If you are a construction contractor of any sort, whether a construction worker, you are also called an entrepreneur. Like we say contractor, they say entrepreneur for that.
Oh, how confusing.
Yeah, I thought that was a little confusing.
Like
But they use
builder?
entrepreneur?
Yeah,
for,
like builder, handyman, plumber. Those are all instead of us saying like a tradesperson or a contractor or whatever
Interesting.
they say entrepreneur.
They consider business a craft.
Okay, no, that might be true. Yeah,
Can you say entrepreneur in that French way again?
entrepreneur. I think I did a pretty good job. Actually. I'm not good at accents, but I think I did that.
I think
one
you did.
pretty darn well.
Well, we'll hear from our listeners.
You know, there's like.
That one just got some stank on it.
But yes, it also means like a person who starts businesses and stuff like that. So
I'm impressed that you remember to ask him that.
yeah, thanks. the level of expectation of what I do and don't do is the bar is set where I need it to be, which is pretty good. Pretty
Glad
good
I'm
for
here
me.
on a good day.
Yeah. She's like, pats
killing
me
it.
on the back. She's like, I'm proud of you, little buddy.
Boy, he's the good boy.
So, Sam, in the spirit of our show being about entrepreneurship, what do you do?
Well, today actually marks the 1 year anniversary of getting to quit. Yeah. When I had my last day at my full-time job.
Okay.
And jumped on into starting Uptrends at the time Babel.
1 year.
Yeah.
Did you have to abandon
Congratulations.
Babel because it was already used too many times or something?
They started running radio ads, and it ruined it for us.
Yeah.
I think we have a better use of the name, but they might come after me, so I'm not going to say that too much.
Well, I feel like I hear on podcasts quite a bit, Babel.
Yeah. They love doing ads now. When we first started, we were Babel doing sentiment analysis for stock markets to help retail investors have a better time reading the news.
Jesus, I almost understood part of that.
Like
We can get into
something about understanding. And then,
Analysis. I heard the word
things.
analysis.
Yeah.
And I was like,
We make news good for investors.
no, that's the easy, the Fisher
Yeah.
Price way of saying that. I like it. Yeah. News good.
We started, and then they instantly started running those podcast ads.
So they weren't a very big thing prior to it.
No, they at least had no ads presence. But then, of course, we get an LLC and instantly have to change the name.
Yeah. I mean, that's just sort of the way it works these days, right? Is naming things is quite difficult.
It's hard.
Yeah, because everything's taken. Juliet's got her own. She's got her thing.
Avid Edge?
Yeah, which we talked about this yesterday.
We did.
That was kind of I talked to Sam about it yesterday. This is kind of an old trend. This two capital letters in.
I'm giving you the evil eye.
I know you are. I
It's
can
like,
feel it.
did you-
It got cold as shit in here. I'm telling you.
Did you just call me old?
No.
I didn't hear anything you said after old.
Rage.
I don't recall calling.
What do you mean?
old.
Like
No.
putting two words together like that is old school?
Well, we were talking about it for the stock market industry of if, like in Uptrends, the U and the T are both capitalized.
Yeah.
But like every news provider from millions of years ago, the oldest ones, all have two words smushed together, both caps. So we have to stay away, at least in our industry. I don't know exactly what you're doing at Avid Edge.
You don't, huh?
No.
Well, maybe you'll ask me later.
I was told I should come in knowing nothing. So
I very much appreciate
That's
that.
really good.
Yeah.
Thank you for following the rules.
Yeah.
yeah,
It is best if we don't know anything about each other. So, I mean, I think.
we met yesterday.
Yeah, we did meet yesterday. We were like, we're desperate. Please come on the show. No, we.
We're like,
we had a
we
little
need someone
cancellation. We're good.
extremely cool.
Yeah, that's
Sam.
right.
Please
right.
come on our show.
I know it does kind of diminish his presence, doesn't it?
No, I've been knocking on this door trying to get in on this podcast for the last 6 months, Every morning at 6 a.m. you guys keep telling
Nobody
me,
here.
who are
Like,
you?
shh, be
Go somewhere
quiet.
else.
He won't notice us.
The best thing we ever did was put up this obscuring film. It makes us mysterious.
It does.
Like, what goes on in here?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what we should have some sort of noisemaker that goes all night that's like saws and hammers and shit.
Like there's some major construction going on in here.
Like circus sounds.
Yeah, just weird shit.
Yeah.
Animal noises all night. Yeah. I like this. And different things. We'll have
Okay, I
different
know
things.
where we're going here, and I'm just going
Anyway.
to stop us.
God, I mean, I feel like there's going to be an audience of people who are like, I thought I was tuning in to hear something about this guy's work and entrepreneurialism, and all I'm hearing is bullshit.
I heard the second half hour is where it really comes together.
It really does. Usually that's when we have a glass of wine, but we hit it hard early today.
Yeah.
Well, we started an hour late.
Hit it hard early. I'm like a quarter of a way into a beer. I don't want to make the whole show about that, but man, we record in the afternoon, and after a long day of sitting here in front of the computer, it sure is nice to
Oh, yeah.
unwind
You've
with
just
a
been slipping away in front of the computer.
Cha-ching, cha-ching.
with our locally brewed beer that should be sponsoring us.
sponsoring
Yes,
us.
yes. Oh, I mean, whatever. We'll have to.
I want to
fuzz
hear
that
more
out.
about Sam's business.
I know it's weird though because his name is Sam, so I'm like, you want to hear about?
And this is why
no.
this is why I suggested doing Sam 1 and Sam 2 or
It's all
Sammy.
right.
Who wants to be Sammy?
Neither of us.
Yeah.
I've been around other Sams before. I can handle this. So
Yeah.
Sam, formerly Babel.
Yeah.
I think that's a smart move to change the name, only because of the presence of Babel, of course, out there.
Yeah.
And the trouble you get into with that sort of stuff. Is it like really nerve-wracking to change your name after you've been at something for a while?
Yeah, like it's kind of like how I imagine naming a kid is. You come up with something in the beginning, you can build it to kind of fit the name. But once you already have a product, like we were a year in when we found the new one, it's really hard to pick that next name, like what you're going to rebrand to. So we just kind of rolled it into a new kind of product launch. AI was big, and we have like a lot of AI tools. I've been very averse to naming things AI until recently.
Well, it is the trend, the big trend. We'll get into that in a little bit because I do want to pick your brain a little bit about whether like that's another trend that's going to.
Well, yeah. I mean, I think anyone who puts it in their name right now might be making a mistake. I mean, I think.
How dare you?
It does end the name of their company.
I know, but it's not.
Uptrends.ai.
It's all part of another. I mean, okay.
No. We should talk about that.
Yeah.
Though. And we don't have to like.
It keeps me up at night.
Yeah,
Let's hit it.
There's seriousness to it, but I do want to get more into the story of what you do and your business and everything. But one thing, naming a child. So are you saying like, is it sort of like when you want to name your child something and then you've kind of got it picked out and you're going to have a baby? I've been in this situation. I know I've never given birth, but I have. Don't look at me like that. I get it. I've never given birth, but I'm a proud father.
Yes, I appreciate that. You did some of the hard work.
I did.
Hand holding, driving.
I mean, like raising your children.
The raising part.
Yeah.
I stuck around for the raising part.
That's so far.
I can't affect thus far, yes. I mean, 2 of them are pretty much done. Well, done-ish.
This is a very needy time.
Yeah,
Yes.
they're going to stick. I'll keep them around. No, yes, I realize the early days are not much me, but it is what it is. But you pick a name, you know this baby's coming, and then your stupid cousin names their child that you didn't even know they were going to have a kid, and they snuck one in really fast ahead of you, and they named it what you thought. Is that kind of what happened here?
I'm almost thinking more along the lines of like, if you had a kid for a few years, they have like a personality now. And then for some reason, the government comes in and says that kid has to have a different name. They can't.
Maybe your grandma. Yeah. Like some family comes in
the local authorities.
Yeah.
Show up at your door.
Fucking
Angry
grandma.
policeman.
Yeah. And then you have to pick a new name that fits the personality. And it's a lot harder because
makes sense.
You have to carry kind of the same preconception. Like with the name, we emailed everybody we could ask. We had a list of 10 names. We didn't end up picking any of them. We workshopped them for 3 months. And at the end of the day, I just had a few beers sitting over at Indeed, another great potential sponsor.
I like how you got right in there. Indeed.
Potential sponsor.
Indeed. Home of Uptrends.ai. A few beers, hanging out with a friend. I called Ramsey, my co-founder, and told him, hey, I got the name. This has to be it. He was out in Colorado skiing, actually. And he was like in a bus.
You guys are fancy pants.
They were in a bus of like 30 people, and they ended up like sleeping in the van. So it wasn't too fancy.
That sounds super startup fancy.
That's like startup fancy.
That's as ritzy as we get.
Yeah.
And I said, okay, ask everybody there. I think this is it. Uptrends.ai. And he said, screw it. Let's just do it. And so bought the domain. Believe it or not, I think it's Antigua owns the .ai, like a TLD, top level domain.
Oh, yeah.
And so they're making so much money off that because it was $130 a year versus $4 normally.
Yeah, I saw that. I wondered why that is.
Yeah, because those AI, domains.
So the country of Antigua?
I think it's Antigua. I might be getting that wrong.
No,
but
that's great. We don't do facts.
this is one of those. Yes.
Yeah.
We
So
do your story.
the Antiguan president himself gets all the money for the AI domains.
For all 18 of his wives.
Again, we don't do facts.
Another sponsor out, though. Antigua is not coming on.
They're like, we don't care. You can say whatever you want.
Is that what the
In
accent is?
Antigua like 5 times. And bad news, any news is good news.
That's right. That's right.
Sure.
Any publicity is good publicity. Yes, I don't know where that Antiguan accent came from. It was terrible.
I think that's right.
It was awful. My French is better.
Yeah, true.
Anyway. Sorry to
can't
throw
do
you
it.
up. Yeah.
Yeah. So we paid the Antiguan president his money and got the domain and then built a whole new product to kind of wrap around it and did a whole rebrand and launch and learned what press releases are.
And how have you done with those?
Actually really good.
Yeah, like people pick them up and everything?
Yeah, we got some advice to try one of like the national distributors.
Yeah.
And so we did e-release, something like that. And it ended up getting picked up by like Yahoo Finance and a few of the other kind of big players in our space. And at the time I was like, okay, that's just, them picking up stuff from a newsfeed and reposting it. But then we had all of our advisors and investors emailing us like, hey, I saw you guys in Yahoo Finance. Like, this is awesome. Congrats.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My experience with that is consumers of news don't particularly care whether it's good or bad. It's just sort of cool to see your name out there. So like whatever press you can get kind of is
And now,
interesting.
anytime when someone Googles Uptrends.ai,
Yeah.
I mean,
Pops right up.
It'll pop right up. So
Yeah.
you've got something to land on.
Yeah, and I think it's honestly at the end of the day, like people know that website, so they go on Yahoo Finance. They're like, "Oh, okay, these people must be legit because their press release is like here on this website."
Exactly. Right.
It's just the right amount of validation.
Do you ever? Okay, so 2 questions out of that.
Yeah, sure.
Did you use AI to help write your press release?
Yes,
Yeah, of course.
100%.
Yeah, pretty much
straight and
wrote it
judgy.
for us.
Yeah.
I love it. And then this could be probably perceived as kind of on the selfish side of things, but do you ever help office mates out getting their press releases out? Do you ever like give a little of yourself back to the office
I
community?
mean,
and
seriously, it takes a community.
That's right.
Right?
Right? You get what I'm saying.
I do.
Yeah, I think we're going to. Anyway.
Yeah, Ramsey would love to help you. It's not I don't know how the internet works. He's so good
That's
at
hilarious. Okay, so how many partners are in your business?
it. So yeah, me and my co-founder Ramsey, and then we have one other full-time employee, Hamza.
Okay.
And then right now we have 3 people part-time working on some different stuff. I got to hire one of my best friends from high school, who ended up he's finishing right now his PhD in machine learning. Worked at Los Alamos, crazy guy.
That's AI land.
Yeah.
Learning.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah. Is it Python? Python?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Julia as well. For a little like name tie-in, that's a language.
It
people use
is.
for stuff.
I know it's a language.
Juliet's pretty high level.
Julia.
No, but Juliet.
Julia. That's my name. Sam.
I didn't know what he was saying. Sorry.
Yeah, it's okay.
My bad.
It's
She's
okay.
been like this all day.
I think she hates me.
No, she did not. I know you're terrified. You're sitting there like a child in school, like in 2nd grade, like he's
Guys,
yelled at by the principal. Look at what you've done to our guest.
So so you're a year anniversary.
Yep.
What?
Your anniversary of the new name, right?
No, full-time.
full-time.
We did the new
having-
name over the summer.
Okay, having quit your full-time job.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that was like a regular high-paying kind of made the wife happy. I don't know if you're married or
Girlfriend.
Girlfriend.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean? Like just regular people are like, I'm so proud of you. You got a job. And then you went to like, you don't have a job anymore? What's wrong with you?
Yeah, it was. I was doing cybersecurity for a med tech company.
Yeah.
So enough money.
Yeah.
And now not enough money. So
That's the difference.
Yeah.
That's the difference between I work for someone and now I'm doing a startup.
yeah. So
what was the final move? Like what was the straw that made you do it? That you were like, now's the time.
Yeah.
I'm doing it now.
I don't know if hopefully none of the people from that job tune in, but if they do, they can have my honest opinion. So I worked for a company here that got acquired by a company out of Ohio, and that was kind of the first straw. But they started kicking out kind of all of my mentors, like all the people who had taught me, and then they just started giving me way, way worse tasks. Like I got to do a bunch of stuff before they showed up, and then I was put in charge of a deployment of a VPN, which is one truly awful thing to do.
Yeah.
Because the company was 30,000 people. And then, as you kind of chug through all of that, it was just so bureaucratic. And they kept saying they were doing lean, and they weren't doing lean. And then there was so many straws. The last one was getting yelled at for not knowing something when I had only been part of like that parent company that acquired it for a few months. And I said, you guys don't care about me. You want me out of here. So I was really happy to turn in my I did a month. I gave them a month notice.
Yeah. Did they keep you for the full month?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then I got the heck out of there.
Well, okay. So that
don't
was
think
the
you even said
inspiration to
anything.
get out of there.
Yeah.
But you could have just gotten another job.
Oh, we were already, we had a few hundred users at that point. I was moonlighting on Babbel for about a year leading up to that. I think we kind of kicked off on the idea during the pandemic.
Yeah.
And so I guess it was even maybe a little longer than that we were just kind of like toying with it as an idea. Didn't really know what it was.
Well, you got to play with it in your mind. But can you explain it to me? Because I still don't
Yeah.
know what it does.
Well,
I was going to ask the same thing. So
do it.
this
I'm
is
super impressed, but I don't
Uptrends.
know what the hell it does.
Yeah. Yeah.
so here at Uptrends.ai, we take a few 100,000 articles, like news articles about stocks a week, a few, million every few months, and we go through all of them so that our readers and users and subscribers don't have to. So we go through and we find all of the important pieces, individual sentences that actually tell them something interesting about where people think the stock's going to go, material information that they might not know about, and then just kind of roll all of that into a dashboard where they can just hop in there, get the information, kind of do the highlights, and then dive deeper if they want to, but otherwise just kind of have some peace of mind knowing that there's not information out there that they're missing.
Interesting. So are you redundant to the information sources that they're already getting, or are you like color commentary that pairs well with cheese?
Yeah,
That was probably too smart for me too.
we're like a fine wine. Yeah,
You pair well with cheese?
I think so. Absolutely. Yeah, we're more so replacing the time spent of needing to find information.
Okay.
So some people have like a few kind of key ones that they like, and so they can keep reading those. But then we take all the time that it would have taken to figure out what you're missing and just put that back on your calendar and let you know kind of the bullet points of what's going on.
Brilliant. And so
I mean,
you
there
have
are-
monthly membership?
Yeah.
And so how many people do you have using the product?
We have some free, some paid. We have 100 to 200-ish in the paid one right now. Big push on that over the next few months. And then a few, maybe 8,000 free people.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
That's nice.
We-
'Cause they'll-
That's a good start. Yeah.
I guess we just crossed 10,000. So we have 10,000
total.
people that have totally, in its lifetime since we've become Uptrends, have used it.
That's super impressive because those are your lowest hanging fruit.
Yeah.
Now, is there anyone really cool on that list? Like, you don't have to
I
say
do
names.
check out the emails.
You don't have to maybe like Merrill Lynch or one of those big companies
question,
that
good
is
question.
looking to, differentiate. Don't say the name. I mean, do it if you want.
I maybe I don't want to tell our users that I do look at all their emails and then check out the cool domains, but we have a lot of people at some kind of Silicon Valley VC kind of.
Very cool.
Yeah. Yep. And then some massive wealth management institutions that maybe support, most of the 401ks in the country.
That's really impressive. I don't think they're going to think you're giving anything away. Here's what they're going to think, and they should, is that you're figuring out who your customer is.
Yeah.
And if it's the majority of it is VCs or private equity or wealth management, well, you're going to say things in a certain way that serve that community.
Yeah.
If it's
'Cause
just
you're not trying to be everything to everyone anyway, right?
right.
Right.
If it's a day trader, it's a different kind of language, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we found for our stuff, we're kind of doing sentiment and kind of maybe anomaly detection is a good way to think about it. Mm-hmm. So either people talking about this company going bankrupt, this company merging with this other company, we can kind of track that over time. And then when it spikes, we'll tell people about that. And we find kind of the premium, the best window for us is 2 weeks from we detect something to that thing happens. So when we're looking at the price movement.
That's pretty impressive. And
So
so
it's sort
now
of
that
Sorry, no, go ahead.
Do you feel like you have to just
No,
pipe in?
no. I'm just asking questions.
Don't
I'm
mess
so
with me
interested.
today, Samuel.
I know. I get it. It was an accident. You were just going to say something?
But here's what I think then as the time goes on, you get better at predicting that.
Oh, yeah.
Because you see what you're just like, not to make the reference again, but you're like a fine wine, because the older you get, the better you're able to perfect how you're doing it. You learn from yourself.
Yeah, and each new kind of metric that we make, or like alert type, adds to what that looks like down the road. Figuring out how to make that better as you go is like really, really hard.
Yeah.
So that's why we have Mr. Machine Learning Guy, my PhD buddy.
Right.
So I don't have to do that. But
well, I mean, you're acting as a news, like an aggregator of some sort.
I like to say de-aggregator.
De-aggregator.
Yeah.
Okay. You're taking far more sources than any single person could possibly get at, looking for instances of mentions of a certain thing or something, and then compiling that information, not personally, but having AI do it, right? And then feeding that back to people so they can kind of understand what's going on. And you have to train it to do all of that, right?
Yeah, and this is why originally, I didn't want to have AI anywhere near the name. Ramsey really loved it. The start of this was like a start of the company was in our sophomore year. Me and Ramsey were on a team, like a quant trading team, and we did sentiment analysis of Bitcoin on Reddit and Twitter to try to find like where are those spikes happening, and do they predict like price movement. And we found a lot of really interesting stuff. It was strictly kind of like classification, so no model really involved. And we borrowed a lot of that, where most of our rules and the ways that we score things are still very just clean, like almost like an Excel sheet a little bit, for like how simple that we keep it on like the highest level. Just so that we can go back to our users and say, when we say this sentiment is spiking, like this is a really bullish company today, we can go back and look at the data line by line and say why. Because I think a big piece of what a lot of the AI models are missing right now is that kind of observability, or like the ability to like explain its reasoning.
Yeah.
Right. Which is why it's relatively dumb sometimes.
Yeah.
Right?
So like our models are mostly like very simple classification, like tree models. And then we have like language models that do summarization, or like a chat kind of interface for figuring out what's going on with your portfolio. But most of like the scoring and detection is just like stuff that we've written by hand.
That's pretty fascinating. I mean, I'm really fascinated by it. So like, for instance, let's take a stock, for instance, like Google Alphabet.
Sure.
Right? Have you done any news articles on that? Because now Professor G suggested it as an investment, and already it's starting to go up.
Ooh.
So is this something that I jump on now, or I should have jumped on when it was the lowest?
I mean, like 30 years ago or 40 years ago.
That'd have been great.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
I don't think it was around then. It's a Google product, right?
Alphabet is the parent company, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, Alphabet. Oh, yeah, Alphabet's the parent company, right?
Yeah. I don't know how long it's been around, but I'm just saying, like, would have been nice to be in there on early.
Like a long time ago, yeah. But it has gone down. It was up, and then it went down, and now it's starting to go up again, because apparently they're going to be doing AI something.
Yeah. Bless you. Google has been really interesting in like the AI race, because off the bat, they were really slow. Like OpenAI, who was already partnered with Microsoft, had models, leaps and bounds above everybody else. And Google kept promising some model eventually, and they were all pretty terrible. But recently, their most recent Gemini, I think is what they call it, is like winning a few things. So I'm going to guess a lot of the movement is tied to AI stuff. And
Well, they didn't, and they're just like making their first move, basically.
Yeah.
Google kind of drug their feet. They're like, oh, look at that cute AI thing.
But don't you worry that Google's like well, we just haven't told him about Steve in the back room. Like, and Steve is the big thing that knows everything. They're like, fucking Steve's going to blow them all away.
Steve's been working on something.
Yeah, well, I mean, yeah. You know what I mean? Because they have the cash.
I know,
right?
that's what you need to find out.
Yeah.
Like if you had that information of what Big Head Steve is doing in the back room at Google.
Just wait till that shit comes out. I mean, they're going to dominate.
Exactly.
Yeah, right?
So what do you think? Go ahead.
My gut sense is Google is legitimately slow. And my usual projection is that every company has something that's a few kind of generations beyond what's public.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So I imagine Google has a Steve. But I also imagine OpenAI has a Steve. They call him something else. But
His name is Joe.
In the interest of making it so everything's Steve, everything out there that's like light years ahead that hasn't been, it's Steve in the back room and he's working on his project called Steve.
Yeah.
You know?
It's Steve.
Yeah.
It's just
Steve.
just like one word.
Steve's super crazy in the back room. Anyway, look at you two. We're 30 minutes into this.
No way.
Yeah.
I was going to ask a question.
Oh, well, I don't see any reason
We
not
can
to.
save it for later, but I'm just wondering because you're so fresh, right? Like
I'm so young.
No, that's not what I meant. But
I was going to ask how old he is.
I wasn't going to ask that. That's
He mentioned
impolite.
he mentioned when we were in the homeroom. No, what'd you say? Just a minute ago, you said you were working on something.
He was
with
in his
Ramsey.
sophomore year.
Sophomore year of.
Preschool.
Yeah,
I have my.
he's got the ability to crack some jokes that indicate he's a little older than he maybe.
I'm an old soul. Yeah.
Yeah, no,
I'm 25.
Are you serious? Okay, you're in that age bracket where I wouldn't have been able to venture a guess. You could be.
It's the beard.
You could be 20. You could be 42. I don't know. You know, just because you've certainly been around the block. You've had a job at a company doing cybersecurity. You've got maturity under your. But yeah, 25 is awfully young. So you took a leap to do this. I guess when we come back, I'd like to. You have more questions, and
I'll wait till we come back.
Yeah, because I want to get into that. That's a big thing to do at 25.
Well, it's a good question. Like questions. Let's tee it up, right? So, like questions I would have about someone your age who has given everything up, right? And it's not like you have a wife and a family and like 8
Might be
kids
the
to take
exact
care
right
of,
time.
Well, I'm wondering, like, what are the hardest parts? Like, already I'm sure in 1 year there were many times where you were like, "This is crazy. This is crazy. This is crazy. We should throw in the towel," or we shouldn't have done this, or we should have done that, or like Steve is not coming up with these great ideas. So I want to talk about that because I think that is a guidance. There's a lot of people your age thinking, "I want to be an entrepreneur," or fed up with a system that they're working in as well, or don't feel appreciated. And they're thinking, I want to be an entrepreneur. And so I'm curious, like what?
Yeah, there's definitely some trade-offs.
Yeah.
We can save them.
Let's save them.
Yeah, let's get into that on the second
I'm
half. I like it.
excited.
That's good entrepreneurial stuff.
That's good entrepreneurial. Say it again.
Good entrepreneurial stuff. All right, we'll be back.
Here you are.
Oh,
You've made it to the middle of the show. Buckle up because the second half is going to be even.
It's different. It's
very
always
different.
different. Things the little train goes off the rails or whatever. The whole bus.
It usually does. By the second half, we're relaxed.
It's coming.
Here it comes.
Yeah, I talk too much. Middle. See ya.
Bye.
Have fun. Okay, we're going.
Welcome back to the show.
Welcome back. Welcome back. Let's see. We've got Sam Cartford. I've got it right here. Uptrends.ai.
That's right.
Yes, I'm good at this.
Uptrends.ai. See, AI is not in your name, though, right? AI is the URL end, right?
Due to trademark constraints, the AI does have to be in our name.
It does.
Yeah, because there is an Uptrends.
Oh, what do they do?
They do uptime monitoring.
That doesn't mean shit to me.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Uptime monitoring.
Yeah.
Who doesn't these days?
My watch
Everybody's
does.
doing it.
Yeah, it's very big.
Everybody's doing it.
That's easy.
Might as well do it.
No, there's not a name out there that isn't taken, right? It's really hard though.
Avid Edge is taken.
You
but
got it now.
wasn't.
It's yours.
What about this idea?
Now it is.
Claimed.
Claimed it.
Yeah, we've had like a whatever file into the patent office or trademark office for 9 months.
And you haven't received word yet?
Well, the trademark lawyer said, "Oh, you should hear back in 6 months from now." So
Another
Yeah.
6 months.
Yeah, a year and a quarter is
Who's your trademark lawyer? I've got one that works faster than that.
it's the
Well, I think you're saying that
the office.
the
like
federal
trade-
government hasn't
Yeah.
gotten back to you.
Yeah.
The thing's been submitted.
I
Yeah.
get it.
Either that or your attorney's like, oh yeah, I think I submitted that. I'll get that. They're super slow these days. Everyone else has got them.
Yeah, I don't know how to
6
check
months.
that.
I'm just kidding. Attorneys don't do that kind of stuff.
No, we
They-
love attorneys.
Yep.
They should sponsor.
We're sponsored. We should be sponsored by the National Association of Attorneys of America Association. That's 2 associations.
I don't.
Ooh, that's a good one. Anyway, so Sam,
Sam is only on the second beer, just for you.
it really
listeners.
is. This is.
Sounds like he's on his more than 2 beers.
We just have fun. I don't want the show to
The
be.
vibe is contagious.
I don't want the show to be about drinking, but it is nice to do a show where you can have a drink while you're doing it. I hate to say it.
Do you have a show that you can have a drink in?
No, I've crafted each one. All 4
I'm playing 4D chess.
allow for it.
Yeah.
It's encouraged.
Yeah.
They actually
No,
have
it's,
been
I don't
pouring
like
this.
to glorify it. It does make these types of situations just that much more not palatable. That's bad because that would indicate that I
Whoa.
would find it unpalatable.
This is the second
thought we
time
were
you've said
friends.
something like this.
Oh,
I thought we
you
were friends.
today? Me? I'm the problem?
I'm just in trouble across the board.
You are in
Okay,
trouble.
Sam, let's go back to the
You are
question.
handling it quite well. Thank you. You're doing a great job.
He is
Sam.
doing a great job.
You are.
Well,
Did you think-
entrepreneurship is a journey and a learning experience of how to roll with the punches. So
Very true.
Exactly. It's resilience, isn't
yeah.
it?
It's all about that. And so, back to kind of what we're talking about. I'm sure Juliet's got questions too, but it occurs to me that 25 years old is probably like exactly the right time to try a startup.
yeah.
Because you don't yet have it sounds like you don't have the full responsibility of children and a family and all the rest of it. You probably still have a little bit of a safety net in a certain way that you may not have when you're 35 or 45 or whatever. But that's still on the young end as far as entrepreneurs like startups go. From what I've read, there's sort of this notion that you get out of college and you start this thing and you become wildly successful and your last name's Zuckerberg or whatever.
Yeah.
But no, actually, turns out like the median age of success, kind of by monetary standards, like what is it? Getting in the black rather than the red.
We are in the red,
Yeah, I know.
but we are aiming for black.
Oh no, we're quickly working there. But anyway, that happens generally in your 40s.
Yeah.
Is what I've read. So
Yeah, and that actually, I forget if it was a How I Built This or like another podcast where they were talking with
great show.
John Foley. I might be getting the name wrong. The founder of Peloton.
I don't know his name, but that sounds right.
Foley sounds
Good to
right.
me. Yeah.
Yeah, so John Foley.
Yeah, for sure. 100%.
John Foley,
My friend, John Foley.
you know him. He started Peloton.
Yeah.
This is going to be bad if that's wrong. People are going to be really upset at me. But
You know,
Let them scream.
Again.
Whatever.
you can email me at johnfoleysfriend@gmail.com.
no, John Foley's best friend is the one that you used when you emailed
BFF.
me.
You
Okay.
should get that one. Anyway. Yep.
He, had founded a bunch of other companies that kind of worked out to middling success. And then Peloton was just a huge winner. And I think he started it when he was 38 and they were big by the time he was 42.
Yeah.
And it was kind of a story about how the first few tend to be learning experiences. And after that, you have a bit more of the waves kind of figured out. You know how to like deal with finding customers, making money, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And you have like a bigger network by then. So it's been funny and interesting and a great time, like going through the uphill battle of figuring out, like, we didn't know how to raise money. We didn't know the difference between like an LLC and a C Corp when it comes to raising money, like meeting investors. And
I would guess a lot of our listeners
is the
might
difference?
not know. Yeah.
Yeah. So like an LLC can only issue units, which it issues to people who like work for them. And it's really, really complicated to invest in because as an investor, if you invest in an LLC, you have to wait for that LLC because it's a pass-through entity in the eyes of the IRS. You have to wait for them to have filed their tax return, get their return, and then pass you a different sheet before you can go file your taxes as the investor in that company. So there's a bunch of really weird stuff, but they're built for like employee-owned businesses rather than investable businesses. So a C Corp, not a pass-through entity, files its own taxes, and is much more investable and has like better definitions around.
Could you do an LLC with an S Corp partnership
That's a S corp designation or whatever.
designation? Does
It
that
helps.
help? Or is that just a tax thing?
It's its own thing, an S
Yeah.
Corp.
Okay.
It's its own thing, and it allows for the owners of it. So it's still technically an LLC with the S corp designation, but you can pay yourself salary and you can pay yourself a wage and not get hit double on taxes. So
Yeah,
that's the big thing with
Yeah.
S corps. But
The sweet part about an
Thank
LLC,
you for explaining
though,
that.
yeah, we're all a team here.
she does not trust me.
Mansplaining. Actually, I have an S Corp, so I know what
Okay.
I'm talking about, but I thought maybe we should explain it.
Oh, well, you could have made it clear that you wanted to explain that to the listeners. Look, I would have
no.
looked here instead of you.
I
you
like
know?
mansplaining. Feels good.
She's really, it's growing on her. We'll say that.
No, but
Did I mention I worked at a camp as a kid?
yeah, Cano pilot or something is really cool.
And so you're Steve Williams' best friend or whatever from Peloton.
It's Pat Foley.
That's what I said.
It's neither of those. It's neither. It was John. So
I know Pat Foley.
Terrible.
That's his cousin.
Shout out to you, Pat Foley. Thinking about you.
Yep, cousin to John Foley.
No, I
Peloton.
think I know him. I mean, I know a Pat Foley, so that may be what the issue
Yeah.
is here.
I know Camp Foley. There's a Camp Foley here in Minnesota. Well-respected, lovely place, lovely camp.
Okay.
Anyway, next.
Yeah, I think we all hang out there. The Foleys and I.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a great place. Okay, so where were we?
Were we?
Where we got so
What was the hardest thing in the last year?
Yeah, like the interesting thing about being 25 and getting rid of the job is you are saying goodbye to a salary and knowing like what you're going to be doing a few months from now, or like what kind of money you're going to be making. Like I need a raise. Can I have one eventually? You don't know. And so the kind of like implications of that is like right now, a lot of people in my boat would maybe feel the same. Like I have student loans that I have to pay back, and I can't get a new car yet because there's no money. And I can't like go on a lot of the trips. And even if I do go on the trips, like I'm working a lot of the time. And so the trade-offs are more social and just straight up financial, like when it comes to the cost of doing it. So, things are looking up, like we'll be able to give everybody raises soon. But in the meantime, it is kind of like a decent calculus of like, okay, will we have enough money for like me and my girlfriend to go on a trip, or like should she just go? And we've done that a few times now where she's gone on a trip with her friends and I've like stayed and gotten to do a lot. Like I get a lot done. So at the end of the day, like,
I caught that. Did you hear what that was?
Yeah.
She leaves town, I get work done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well-
Girlfriends are distracting.
nobody tells me to go to sleep when she's gone, so I can stay up till whenever. I just typing away. But, so that's the,
So you just let your health completely go when you grow up.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right.
I mean, goes for
Clarifying.
dinner.
Underwear all day, every day.
Clarifying. For someone who just canceled the Florida trip,
Right.
because I had too many things to do.
Well, you're a
I get it.
go-getter.
Yeah. I would say, though, that, okay, so tell me more about the trajectory. I'm sure you've done your scenarios going forward. So you have like a date that if this happens then, and you feel like, are you looking to sell in a certain amount of time?
Absolutely.
Or
Yeah, is there an exit? Yeah, I like
is
that.
there a PE firm you're eyeing up that should sponsor us? Or
I think any PE firm should sponsor you guys here. This is a wonderful time.
thank you.
Is that physical education?
Yes, yes, it is.
In a sense.
Yes, it
In a
is.
sense.
Oh, private equity. I figured it out. Never mind. Sorry, my bad.
Thanks for
my
catching
bad.
up. Good.
They do give you quite the runaround. So
That's a real question.
yeah, the exit strategies, one of the things that maybe the kind of classic, like how to start a business things don't teach you, especially like in a scenario where you have a co-founder, you got to figure out if you're on the same page, and you got to get on the same page with what's the goal with this? What do you want to do?
Totally.
And so we both kind of came together and said, ideal world, after starting, we can sell this thing in 5 years. And kind of each quarter, we'll talk to each other and say like, okay, what's the minimum right now? What's the lowest number you would take if somebody called you up and said, I'll give you, X dollars for this company?
And you sort of purposefully sit down and talk to each other about that? Like, is that sort of baked into the way that you've founded this together?
It comes up. There's not like a calendar invite to go and figure that stuff out. And there's not like a meeting around it, but it is something that has ended up coming up naturally, where it's like, okay, how do you think we're doing? What's next?
It kind of makes me wonder if it wouldn't be relatively good advice to suggest that you do that.
Yeah.
Because I've started things with people, and Juliet and I came into what we've started as both of us mature business people in a certain way. Like we've been around, we've done the business stuff, and
Mature, is that the word?
Mature.
I wasn't talking about our season's fine, but I wasn't talking about our personalities. I was talking about our life and business.
Okay.
The mature part.
We have screwed up a lot of things.
Yeah, right. And I think because of that, like it was very easy for us to just say like, I'm going to lay this all out here. Here's what I do, and here's what I'm bad at, and here's what I'm good at, and what do you do, and what are your expectations, and where are we headed, and all of that. We did a pretty good job of being very straightforward. I think people starting out for the first time, especially if you're a little younger, you might be a little more idealistic about how things are going to work. It seems to me like setting certain probably time markers, but a certain milestone that you hit that you say, let's sit down and re-examine this same question seems like a smart move. I don't know.
Yeah. Like the exit strategy kind of thing will always keep evolving, but yeah, definitely having something like a reason to go and say, like, what would it take for you to go all in on this, do it forever? What would it take for you to sell tomorrow? It's kind of a good thing to at least like base level know what your co-founder and like other people involved would say, but like even better if you can get on the same page.
And so you have venture capital investment, right?
Mostly friends and family,
Okay.
and a little bit of VC kind of like angel fund seed stage stuff. We've done 200 some, and we're in the middle of closing around right now for 500. I don't have the most up-to-date numbers on that. That's not my
So what
job.
does that mean for your ownership? Like what? Yeah. So what does that mean?
How badly are they screwing you?
That's not.
Oh, sorry. That's just my take on things.
We love our investors.
Don't be afraid of-
the investors are keeping them alive.
Yeah.
And I'm just wondering, like, what are you giving up?
Yeah, so we're raising on, we have two safes, or I guess the same safe now with 2 rounds because we did kind of like a bridge round. So I guess, yeah, first the numbers and then the strategy. So like raising on a safe means you set kind of the conversion criteria. It's like,
I want to let you just go directly.
no, I can do an explainer.
Yeah, because up until a few years ago, I didn't know what a safe was.
Yeah.
I think if there's
Until 5 minutes ago, we thought PE was Fayed.
I still think it's Fayed. No, I honestly though, if someone's listening to this and enjoying the show and enjoying a little bit of our humor and all of that, we want them to maybe learn something too. And safes are kind of the gold standard right now in how to raise money from a couple of different sources. And can you explain? Well, I'd love to hear your explanation of the definition of a safe and kind of what it does for people.
Sure. Yeah. So a safe actually came out of the Y Combinator school. It's a way to do convertible debt, and convertible debt is just a person giving you money to your company and you pay interest to them basically on it until it becomes actual shares in the company. It's a way of doing that without doing any of the actual debt up front. So it's basically like they give you money in exchange for the right to have that turn into shares when the time is right. So for a while, it just kind of sits as they own some money in a safe, which is just treated as debt.
I mean, prior to the safe coming around, this was like a convertible promissory note. Yeah. Correct. I mean, and this is just an extension of what a convertible promissory note is, which is I've given you money. If the company fails, I'll accept the loss of that money. And if the company succeeds to the point where I want to, or we're able to be invested in it, then I want you to take that and I'm investing at this. Yeah. Do you remember what the acronym stands for, SAFE?
Startup agreement. No.
For future equity.
Fancy equity.
Fancy equity.
I like it.
We do issue French shares to anyone who.
It's not standard agreement for future equity. No, it's I forget what the S is.
Yeah.
But anyway, so it's an agreement for future equity.
Slippery.
Yeah.
Slippery. It's shitty.
Shitty.
Shitty agreement. Actually, no, that's not even close to right.
I don't think that's right.
I guess Sam's agreeing that's not right.
I think the simplest version is it's a way to borrow money where you don't have to pay interest, and what the other person gets is leverage on the back end. So in a safe, there are two things that you can set. You can set the value cap or the discount rate.
Yep.
And basically that's when you actually go to convert that, and you have to set that up with your lawyer, like when that conversion happens. For us, it's a priced round of at least $2 million. Yep. All of the safes will convert.
Yep.
And those all convert at a certain valuation, and they get preferential treatment for investing early that looks like a discount on those. So they get more shares than they would have if they bought at conversion time.
Yep. And you can set those discounts. And I mean, basically, if you're listening to this and you're wondering what a safe is, Y Combinator set them up. Go look them up. It's a really standard thing these days. And it is the reason the acronym is SAFE is because it helps both sides. It's better for both sides than a lot of the old ways that people did this.
But you must do some projections then, right? So your valuation is what your goals are. I don't know what that would be. Like your valuation is a certain amount that you can sell at, and then you sell it. What do you get? So considering that maybe all of those safes convert.
Yeah, right. and they I think should. In the case where somebody invested and we sell the company, we make a bunch of money. Let's convert everybody and get everybody their money's worth. I think it's Carta that has a great calculator for this based on how much money you put in for safes at what discounted value cap. And between Ramsey and I, we still hold over 50%.
Okay.
So we raised at a $4 million value cap with a 20% discount. So kind of projecting what that price round looks like eventually. Price round is just where you sell straight up equity rather than any sort of convertible thing. We should be sitting pretty enough. And
you're going to be sitting pretty enough. This is my vision for you.
That's right.
Appreciate.
Oh, she's big into the vision stuff. I like it.
Yeah.
You have to. You have to just decide that's what's going to happen.
Yeah, you have to be a little dumb up front.
You have to just be naive. This is going to happen. And you keep thinking this is going to happen.
And the funny thing is, me and Ramsey will talk about, okay, so what would you sell at today? We have, a few $1,000s in recurring revenue. And each of the, every time.
Monthly?
Yeah.
Okay, a few $1,000s monthly in recurring revenue, which is, but by all metrics, that's pretty good for
those are numbers.
Yeah, any numbers are better numbers. We got some checks recently. Feels good, right?
It's good.
Yeah. Yep. So you're there, and
Yeah, like every time, like on paper, if you were to work that out, you go, okay, this company's worth $200,000, $300,000 or something.
Sure.
Kind of just based on the numbers. And every time we talk about what we'd sell for, it's always like maybe the lowest 10 million. Or something stupid. You got to be a little bit boneheaded going into it, because if you were just doing the calculus every day, you'd
It
be
helps to be 25.
yeah.
Well, I mean, you haven't fallen on your face as many times as I have, right?
Yeah.
So it's like,
And that call
it's like,
isn't real.
okay, well, 5 million would be okay. I could take 5 million,
Yeah.
right? You know what I mean? Like, it's like, I know this one, but I wholeheartedly believe in visualization and stop worrying about the how. Work your butt off when actions come to you, and you have to get them done, and just keep moving forward. But just focus on what you're going to get.
Yeah.
I think it's super powerful. I don't know what kind of divine intervention happens there, but
Yeah.
do it.
No, it's true. You throw the positivity, you throw the positive thought out into the universe, and it's a lot better than throwing the negative thought out into the universe. It's just the way it works.
Yeah.
I mean, but
Yeah, you just stay focused, and that if that's all you're thinking about, like the little things roll up eventually.
yeah.
They do.
Like you're nice to a few people, you help some people out when they need it, and all of a sudden, like they're important, and they can take meetings, and they can set you up with customers. Like that's happened to us a few times just because we know people in town.
Yep.
Just random coincidences of people that you like being important.
I used to think networking was like a really shitty thing. Like,
Why? Why would you think that?
I really
Because you're
believe-
an extrovert. I would think you'd like networking.
Well, mixers suck.
Well, and I know when
Unless you have an advocate. There's a couple ways to go to a mixer.
I don't know
go with
any of those.
Juliet.
I'm a professional networker. I mean, I guess not really, but I am. I think I've been able to conquer them. I love one-on-ones.
Conquer. I like it.
I have.
No, I believe it.
I love one-on-ones. Always go to, if you're uncomfortable with a mixer and your first comment is to say, mixers suck.
Yeah.
Make sure you ask Sam or I to go to the mixer
I'll
with
go.
you.
We'll have fun.
Because
Okay.
someone like that, someone like us are going to be like dragging you around. Have you met Sam? Have you met Sam? Have you met Sam? Hey, meet Sam. You should meet Sam.
That would be confusing for people eventually.
Sam, meet Sam. Sam. No, not that Sam. This Sam.
I get where he went with that.
Yeah.
It's going to be tougher if we go.
But
together.
it also would help. I mean,
I'll
with
be Steve that night. It's okay.
You got all kinds of people to do that with. And
Yeah.
it's like people love going to those things. Like, hey, do you want to come with me? Hey,
Well,
do you want to come with me? And then you got a buddy. You know what we call that in the old days?
Wingman.
Wingman.
Yeah.
The buddy
Or
system?
wing lady. The nice thing about those, and I guess that's the whole thing with the mixer, right? Is it like if you're meeting? Oh my gosh, I've been to like the tech guy thing, where it's just like the programmers and they're having their programmer night at the place, and then I go and I'm like, holy shit. I don't really fit in here. I like you guys and everything, but like it's a different world. Like I'm more on the sales end of things and they're not, A good mixer has kind of all the spectrum of people, right? And you go there and honestly, people who aren't in your field are interested in what you're doing. And therefore, when you go to those things, if you can break through that little bit of nervousness or trepidation and get to know these people, this is really beneficial for
And really,
for
you don't
business.
have to meet a bunch of people at a mixer.
No.
You just have to meet 2 or 3 people.
Yeah. And the ones that find you interesting, man, they remember it and they'll be reaching back out to you like that was really cool. Yeah.
My beef with mixers so far has been that
My beef.
my issue.
It's old school.
I love talking to people, and I end up getting trapped in conversations with the chattiest person in the room.
Oh.
And they will just kind of monopolize. And
That's bad.
That's been my,
All right,
my pitfall.
let's give them some outs there. Right?
Yeah.
Okay, so how about, bye. You do, oh my gosh.
You're good
I'm
at
so sorry to interrupt you, but Sam is over there, and I've been waiting to talk to him. Can I just come back and we'll carry on? It's like,
And then
I
never
wanna
come
hear you,
back.
Then don't you have to come back? You don't have to.
Yeah, they'll be talking up somebody else.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's true.
Right? And so that's so Midwest of you. I just love that. Your little patience and they're to keep talking.
No, it's true. There are people who completely, and they're probably going through their own bit of nervousness about.
They're like, I'm just going to keep talking.
Like I found someone that's going to listen to me.
Look, he's listening.
And I don't want to talk to 90 of these other people.
Here comes the pitch.
Yeah.
He's listening to me. He's listening. He likes me.
Oh, there could be.
Yeah.
Could be. I like that. I mean, the reason I thought networking was bad was because the people who adopted hardcore networking skills maybe when I was in my 20s were the cheesiest effers around. You know, like they were the people who it gave it a bad name for me because I'm like, oh, I'm not going to be like, God, I got to come up with a better name than Steve.
I know.
Carl.
Steve has got the good idea.
Carl, thanks.
Carl, that's a good one.
Yeah. Brandon or something, you know, like just
Thad.
Thad or
Thad,
Blair.
that's the best one right
Blair,
there.
you know, who's like just so cheeseball and like networking's everything, man. And like, but they don't actually get to know anyone.
No,
and it's
that
almost
is
collecting.
just using people.
Oh, I hated that.
There's a book called Go Giver, right? And it's about networking, and it's about, you know, you're there to network so people know your business and they know you, right?
Yeah.
And so, but you might be a bit of an introvert, you don't like those situations. But really, if you go in, so knowing networking will help you in your business and your personal self forever and ever and ever. And only
Good
because you
advice
know more
coming.
people. You only know more people, that's all. You just know
Yeah.
more people. But if you go in to give, right? If you're like, how many people, your intention, you stand at the door and you're like, my intention here is to meet a couple people I can do something for.
Yeah.
I can do something for them, right? I'm going to find 2 people that I can do something for. Whole different perspective, right?
But for
there's
upper
no pressure.
Midwesterners, that requires not feeling like an imposter all the time, right? Like it feels, if for an upper Midwesterner who can't think nicely about themselves, that means that you have to think that you have something
Are you
of value
kidding?
to give to people.
Midwesterners, they're thrilled to give.
No, I know. I'm just
can I serve?
saying it's something we have to get past this in the upper Midwest. People, we do have value and
Yeah.
the stuff we know is valuable to other people. And yes, you can give of your time to people. And
Yeah, imposter
I agree with
syndrome is an interesting one. When you start a company, it kind of gets beaten out of you if you've ever imagined having it. Like you lose a lot of ego in this tussle. But like looking at people that I know who are great at stuff and will have imposter syndrome, it tends to be more escapist than anything. Like they're trying to hide from their own like possibility of meeting people better than them and
success.
stuff. Yeah, like
Is it? I think that is it.
Yeah.
Like
I think it's like
you're scared to realize potential at a certain point.
like it's like who said this? Like Maya Angelou. Okay, I don't know why I know anything
Very
about
cultured.
what Maya Angelou
Yeah.
said, but what did she say? She said something like, "None of us are afraid of failure. We're used to failure. We fail all the time. What we're afraid of is greatness." Right? And the truth is, we are afraid of greatness because it's not what we're used to. We're
Yeah.
not used to greatness.
Not used to the limelight,
Yeah.
the pedestal.
Right.
Yeah.
well, and it's again sort of deeply upper Midwestern to not seek the pedestal.
Yeah.
Like you're not supposed to want that.
Yeah.
You're supposed to. You should be great at things, and you should work really hard all the time. But you don't want to be recognized for it.
Oh,
God forbid.
Yeah, heaven forbid someone's like, well, let's hear from this highly successful person who's done all these great things. Like, oh Jesus, don't say that stuff about me. I don't want to hear that. But anyway,
Yeah.
Well, I think about that with like some of the awards in town, like the Techni Awards
Yeah.
and some of the other
that's
awards,
fun
and
stuff.
I'm like, well, how do people end up being nominated? And it's like, oh, well, my PR firm told me to ask someone to nominate, and I'm like, really? Okay, so I should be asking people? Like, that's not That's
Yeah.
No, it's very, very hard.
anti-Midwest. So I don't know if they've got some East Coast PR firm or something working on that.
East or West Coast.
That's right.
there
Why
are
don't I get a Techni Award?
This is your year.
I'm nominating you.
Yeah.
I don't know what I'm going to nominate you for, but
getting
something.
Did you hear that, people?
This is your year.
Yep, it's your year. All right. Guess what we did?
We took another half hour.
We did. I'm wondering if there's any sort of things we should wrap this up with. Sort of.
I'm just wondering how long you've had this girlfriend.
Now we're talking.
4 years in February.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so are you waiting
or
for a big
blissful
bite? Like,
years
she doesn't
even.
listen. She won't listen to the show.
She's going to
so you
listen.
can tell
She
me.
always does. She's great.
She won't listen to the show, and
She's
so I'm
gonna-
wondering.
She Googles my name every day and clicks on all the links. No,
God,
not
I love
actually,
her
but
so
she
much.
does.
Okay.
She doesn't know I'm on a podcast.
So she's obsessed,
she will.
is what you're saying.
So
Yeah,
I'm saying,
I don't
like,
get
4
it.
years is a long time.
She's creepy. I like it.
Are your parents pressuring you in any way?
No, her sister is.
Your sister.
And we
Pressuring you or her?
this is definitely a me pressure because we're talking about little ring popping.
Yep.
But we went to a wedding it was Ramsey's wedding. My co-founder got married over the summer.
Oh, you're screwed then.
Yep.
Because you're the same age, right?
Yep. Well, they've been dating for 6 years.
Okay, you
Even
got
so.
a couple of year.
I mean, that's like I'm 15 and a half. Like, you got to give up the half. Anyway,
Pressure's on.
you've both been dating long enough, and you're at the point where this is kind of becoming a thing. And Ramsey, your co-founder and good friend, he gets married, you're screwed.
I'm screwed?
Well, screwed in a happy way, because you're going to get married.
Well, her family's all in Sweden.
She's
all of her
Swedish?
sisters. Her dad's Icelandic, and so she has sisters in Sweden, 3 of them.
No,
You should go to
you
Iceland
say that,
to get engaged in Iceland. in
but
the spring.
somehow he passed that off as though, like, I should be like, I totally get it. He's Icelandic, so the daughters live in Sweden. I don't know what that means. Why would him being Icelandic
Not even close.
put them in Sweden?
Well, so he was in a rock band and a soccer team.
Fuck, I
in
like this
Iceland,
guy. Yeah.
Tryggvi.
Okay.
And he went to Sweden and started a flooring company after he worked as a prison guard. You should have him on it. So
Fuck yeah, that guy's
Fascinating
that's my
guy.
dude.
He's perfect
Yeah.
for this show.
he's
We have been
Except he's-
talking about prison
doesn't speak
for a
English.
while.
he speaks with a heavy accent, so you can learn another one for that.
I love it.
He'd love it. And then in Sweden, via the prison and starting a flooring company, had some kids.
Okay.
Came to America, had one more kid,
That's your girlfriend.
and that's my girlfriend.
Okay, so she's like straight up American.
Straight up American, but has 2 passports. So
Yeah.
can I trust that she isn't a foreign
double
intelligence agent?
Yeah.
She's from Sweden. They wouldn't do that.
Her
Oh,
passport's
They're,
excellent.
Only
they're
the
hardcore
guy-
in Sweden.
Only the guy. Isn't there a guy that?
Yeah.
What's his name?
Wait, which guy?
Bjorn Bjorgensen.
Is
I'm just
No, he was
guessing.
Norwegian. He was Norwegian. Don't.
I'm so sorry.
don't
I'm pretty
offend the Swedish.
Oh shit, we lost him as a sponsor.
We lost the Swedish.
Ah, the Norwegians
No,
are
the guy that was.
The guy that
Still
just
a-
got arrested for being a Russian spy in Sweden.
Oh shit.
No, that's not what I
Well,
was
that
thinking
happened
of.
in the last 6 months.
He's got a
I'm
news
thinking about
aggregator.
the guy, the Snoops guy, or the guy
I
that
don't know. Snowden?
Snow. No,
He's in Russia.
she.
Are you talking about oh shit, the French guy, the releaser of documents, Wiki.
Yes, WikiLeaks. WikiLeaks.
Oh,
he's not
what's his
French.
That stinky guy.
He's Swedish, I think.
No.
What's his name?
Oh.
I know it. Oh shoot, I forgot it.
I can't
Hey,
believe I
isn't
forgot
the
this.
girl with the dragon tattoo Swedish?
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm
Okay,
telling you, the
okay.
Swedes are hardcore people.
Yeah, well, they're hardcore, but
They're super nice.
they're not going to screw you. They're just going to be very obvious about it.
Oh, I think they're tougher than people think they are.
Yeah. I mean, their whole national culture is that Midwestern thing of you shouldn't want the pedestal. It is
Yeah. That's where we
this.
get it.
Yeah. Like it's disingenuous to your fellow, countrymen and
Yeah.
women to want the pedestal.
Yeah. That's.
I get
I mean,
it.
there's a lot of.
That is
Swedish-
pretty ingrained. It's funny how culture exists
Isn't it funny?
that way. It's just it persists.
Yeah.
And because we don't know it, because culture is so invisible,
Yeah.
and so you just let it keep going.
I'm always intrigued by meeting people who I like. I respect them, and I still think they're good people, but they put themselves on the pedestal and they say nice things about themselves, and they've got a lot of bravado, and I'm like, because I always associated that with like, oh, you must be a real dick. Like, you know,
Yeah,
like you're a
totally.
bad person. And then I meet good people who can do that. And I'm like, can you just
wait.
like,
Can
can we
just a
rub up
little
against
bit of
each other
that?
just a little bit? I need
Have a little.
yeah, like because I just, because we Midwesterners, like truly deeply Midwestern, we have a hard time with it sometimes.
Well,
But
that's what makes pitching weird.
oh, isn't it hard sometimes?
Because, like, I come from moderately humble background, like middle classy. I've never seen
I like
more
how
than
you put Y at
$1,000.
the end of class there.
Yeah.
Middle
So you must have
classy.
some Irish in you. Aren't you a ranger? You know? That's what
What?
the Australians call the Irish with red hair. Rangers.
Wow.
Wow.
I can't believe I'm getting profiled.
1940s or what? I mean, when did they call people? We have no idea.
I wasn't alive in the 40s, but it's possible I picked up the language and a multi-dimension experience.
That could be true. I don't know. What my family is
Are you
decently
Irish?
Scandinavian.
Oh, you got some red in you.
Yeah.
There's a little red.
Have you done a
undertone.
23andMe?
I will not do a 23andMe
Because you don't want to know.
because I hate the idea of my DNA being out there.
Yeah.
This is my
They already.
Literally, it's out there.
no, it's not it takes a lot of work to get DNA from like a hair strand or whatever.
Used to.
And what do you mean?
Not anymore.
just kidding.
I just
You
passed
obviously
Steve
are
in the
not
back room.
crime junkie I am.
I don't
Steve's
do
got the-
crimes. My DNA isn't out there, so like
Literally, you throw this. Is this yours?
I can't tell you that.
See? I've got your DNA.
What do you have like a sequencer that you can pass that to?
But it takes like nothing. I'll tell them that you did something terrible.
Don't come on this podcast. You'll be framed for
Put
crimes.
this in evidence right now.
Well, I hope you've learned a lot about entrepreneurialism tonight. It's been a great show.
No, wait. I have to give a recommendation.
Oh, sorry.
Okay.
If you ever do 23andMe, do it under a fake name for the future because, believe it or not, we'll have like, I'm not a conspiracy guy, but
I believe
it's
that.
decently easy to imagine a world where your DNA being out there means that someone can make a thing that they just sprinkle in your food and is like specifically bad just for you because that information is out there. So if you ever think you're going to be rich or
I haven't heard that one.
That one's terrible. That one is terrible.
No, you're right. I mean, there could be very hyper specific thing. Whatever. That's awful. I like it.
do
I like it.
do 23andMe,
Oh my God. You are so schizophrenic.
do 23andMe under a fake name. That's all. That's it.
I have a couple of.
I already did it.
Yep.
But I'm adopted, so I didn't know. I needed to know.
Oh, I thought you meant you didn't know you were adopted until you did.
No, I knew it. I knew that I was adopted. So I did 23andMe because I didn't know my profile and I didn't know any of that. I didn't
I liked
know.
where he
That's
went
fascinating.
with it, though.
I know, huh?
Well, my girlfriend did 23andMe and got an email back that said, Natalie, we found your dad. And she was like, I'm adopted. And she opens it and it's just her dad.
Yeah, she's like-
that she already knew that was her dad.
She's like, you mean that dude in fucking Sweden? Like, yeah.
Swedish guy?
Yeah, that's my dad. I've known all my life.
I'm the girl with the dragon tattoo.
Oh, Jesus.
Right.
Anyway,
Okay. Well, I think I've learned a lot today.
I think there was a lot to learn.
No, I do. I think this was super important, Sam. Not you,
Yeah, no,
Sam.
Thank
don't
you.
give me credit. I don't.
Not Irish, Sam.
I don't know what I am.
I think you're Irish.
You could be right.
Yeah.
He said Scandinavian.
I know.
That's
but
the only
he
one
doesn't
we
really
know.
know.
Oh, yeah, because
you
you didn't do 23.
know, all these
Yeah.
people in the past, they used to think they could get away with just accidentally sleeping with people of other nationalities.
So a
What do
whole
you
other
mean?
podcast. I mean, honestly, there's a period of time from about the 50s through the early 80s or so where there's a lot of pregnancies that happen that people were like, oh, guys, no one knows, like, but now they're
Immaculate
finding out.
conception.
Oh, yeah.
Everyone's
I know.
finding out. Like before that, it just didn't happen as much because it happened, but it was a different era and
Well, there was that. Did you see that story about that doctor who was treating infertile women?
was he ever treated?
Got like 150 kids.
At
He
least.
was doing it for like 20 years.
Death row.
Awful.
Death row.
Yeah, that's terrible. If you are a child of that particular doctor and you'd like to sponsor our show, you go. What the fuck is wrong? All right.
Adoptees unite.
We'll take it. All right.
It's been so much
Sam,
fun.
you're amazing.
Thank you for
so are
doing
you,
this.
Sam.
I'm so glad that we met
Sam.
yesterday and also in 1,000 previous lifetimes.
Yeah. Ooh, I like that one too.
It's obvious that we have lived on many dimensions.
This is the reason
Yeah.
I don't worry about the DNA stuff, because I think little bits and pieces of you persist forever, and we all do become different stuff.
Other than
forever.
now, someone can poison just you.
Yeah, but then he'll be reborn 1,000,000 times in 1,000 timelines, so you're
Oh
fine.
my God, we've really come somewhere.
Space dust.
Did somebody
Us.
drink the
Done.
gummies or something? What
It
happened
was
here?
just regular beer. I only had 2.
I'm not sure.
It's been an hour plus.
Oh, did you guys have that weird one with the V in it? I definitely put a bunch of stuff in that. That was not for you.
Did you have the wine she told you not to pour? Yes.
I told you,
we
yes,
did.
exactly what we're having.
All right.
All right.
I gotta thank everybody for listening. Thanks for sticking with us.
Hey,
we hope
Twin
you learned a
Ignition,
lot. Oh, Twin
Startup
Ignition.
Garage, thank you. Thank
Yes.
you. I
Thank
think
you for
Sam and I,
thank you,
Sam times 2, Sam exponential.
Yep. Sam squared. And Uptrends.ai. Thanks for just check it out.
Yeah,
See what it does.
We're launching a new version of the thing. I can. Let me tell you what. I'll say a promo code now, and I'll go make it when I get home.
Okay.
I like this. On the spot.
This is not live. so-
Wadi.
WATI will be 50% off your subscription.
Look at that.
Wadi.
I do love
Wadi
Wadi.
wins.
Yeah.
Backslash
All right. You heard
Wadi.
it. You heard it. Wadi will get you 50% off Uptrends AI.
I'm on it.
All right. Thanks a lot, Sam. Really.
Appreciate it.
Bye. Don't cry. It's over.
Oh, you did it. You made it to the very end of the show. You know what you can do to help us? What can they do to help us? They can tell their friends how awesome this show is.
Yeah, why not? Why not?
You know what else? And I don't know if people know this or don't know this, but like if you found us and you see us on socials somewhere, just hit repost or share it with your community.
Share, repost, follow. Isn't there a follow option?
Yeah,
of some
follow,
kind?
subscribe. We're not going to charge you anything.
No.
Just hit the subscribe button.
No,
It's
we
not gonna
just
hurt
need
you.
to create a community around entrepreneurism and how the real shit happens.
I like it. Well, because we're real. You said it in the intro.
Real.
We talk real. No, seriously, tell your friends. What a great show. Oh my gosh, these people are doing the best work ever. Yeah, right?
That's what you should say.
Yeah.
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 And just come back. Have fun with us. We love this.
We'll have someone, we'll interview someone cool next week too.
Someone completely different.
Yeah, from prison. Thanks.
We always have to have that.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks for listening.